Galen Robbins worked at the Bank of America. And so George Leontower announces that the city of New Bedford is pulling all of its bank accounts out of the Bank of America. I mean, it's just like, who would do that?
This is all in the minutes. It's not even insider.
Who would do that? I mean,
Well, this is small town America. This is the way it happens. I mean,
so I just,
you know, it's a leadership question. It's a question of somebody saying, look, you're going to play by these rules, being decent, and trying to work towards a positive end that'll serve everybody.
but I think the tenor, certainly of the board, I mean, part of the 2002 amendments were, you know, to put a New Bedford member. And that's helped. It's helped a lot. They now have a voice at the table. They have as high a percentage vote as Falmouth, which has rankled some people in this town. But I didn't mean to. But
you don't want to go there. You just don't want to go there.
But that helps. And so you have people. You know, Maura has, you know, shown us. You know, she has called up the mayor. You know, we've sat down with the mayor. You know, time to time. There are good relations. You can have a reasoned discussion and say, yeah, this is really what we want. This is what we want. We just haven't had the time to do that. We've had.
See, I think the time part of this whole thing is critical. It's the same as it is in terms of getting that parking for your employees down there out of the mindset that I need to drive everywhere, that a decent collective system that supports and runs for everybody and makes no noise because it's electric, you know, is a great thing. But we have to re-educate ourselves. You know, I bought an electric car.
All right, all right.
Well, we almost at the end anyway.
I sat next to him.
That's a nice segue.
That actually, all right, you've anticipated the next question.
You're welcome, Lauren.
So that's a great segue. The next series of questions are all kind of related to the Future of Transportation report. Are you guys familiar with that? To Governor Baker?
I'm not. Who presented?
A lot of other stuff I've been reading, so I know I haven't read it.
Right.
This is why we're doing the planning for
It just, I mean, it talks a lot about sort of long-term, big picture thoughts about the future of transportation in Massachusetts.
If you have a copy, can you send it?
Well, it's online, huh?
I downloaded
Send us
it
a link.
online.
Just send us a link.
Yep.
I mean, they may, I mean, but
I don't know.
you know, I'm now retired, so.
Right.
more time to read.
I do. I haven't finished a book yet.
So
since
some
I
of the
retired.
things that came up were some of the things in these subsequent questions.
Okay.
Charging stations planned for the increase in electric vehicles. If the Steamship Authority converts to more electric vehicles, you know, including that.
Yeah, my memory,
Electric
from
buses,
the last
trucks,
time.
cars.
yeah, I think Mark Rosen mentioned that we have charging stations here. We don't charge people for charging.
Right, right.
That don't?
But that would
We
be
don't. No.
expanded.
Pay $15.
Uh-oh.
They have to pay $15 a day.
They paid the day.
So you have to pay the permit.
You gotta pay to get in first.
Yeah,
They
but
have
they
to-
did
they
it.
have to
How
take
many-
a lot of-
Believe
How
me,
many
you
do you
pay.
I don't know.
I'm sorry,
How many do we have?
I know, I think it's somewhere.
We're all
around
out here
20,
by the
25.
rental car.
That many
place.
charging stations?
Yeah, so the ones that are out here, for instance, are designed so that way the cable is extra long because
Yeah.
the cars come and they stay for a number of days, so.
And they're not just Teslas.
It's,
Wow.
and it's so that way it can be moved from one car to
Yeah,
another,
yeah,
so.
wow.
If someone pulls in with an electric car, it needs to be charged, and the car next to them has a full charge already, they're allowed.
So if you
to-
get electric buses, you just would probably charge them in this area?
Well,
Or
the
they will.
electric buses may be a different charging system
Yeah.
than what
Yeah.
those are, so.
Yeah,
For instance, the one
Logic
we're
on it.
borrowing from the VTA right now came with its own generator on a trailer.
right, I
so-
know, I read that, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
counterproductive.
Yeah,
So you're,
No, but it
you're
still has
positive
to
about
charge.
going with electric, which is great.
It still has to charge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, still has to charge.
But you would
Yeah,
It's just a matter of.
be planning for
and we are actively looking at,
charging capabilities.
you know, electric vehicles. You know, we do have, we're gonna be putting in a request for the Volkswagen settlement for at least one bus.
Good.
On that. Just the other day, myself and Mark met with a group in Hyannis, Tom Cahia, Dan Wolf, people from the Cape Cod Commission, people from the is it 5 Cs, what's it stand for?
Four Cs.
No, 5 Cs, not 4 Cs.
Yeah, that's 7 Cs, I think.
No, the ice cream place
Ice
is 4
cream.
Cs.
Oh.
So,
Cape Cod Collaborative?
3. Yeah, I forget what, I'd have to go back and look at my notes to see, but, you know, it was a discussion about how we as a transportation, and, you know, it was basically groups from the transportation, how can we, what can we be doing to be reducing our carbon footprint
Okay,
and things like that. So we're,
that's definitely in there.
there's gonna be additional meetings, we'll be, you know, continuing to meet with them, but, you know, some of this, you know, just to, you know, for instance, this bus that we have out here, so this bus is close to $800,000. So the buses that we traditionally have used, we were buying for about $175,000.
Okay, but this
Okay.
is leading edge.
Yeah, the buses that we have ordered, because of all the complaints that we got about the school bus and the side-by-side seating and everything, after following up with the VTA and borrowing one of their non-electric buses, we were ordering some of those. Those buses, instead of $175, are now going for about $400,000.
We're getting close to electric.
$450. So, but there's such a big delta, and so there was one of the bus manufacturers was there, and we're talking about, well, when do they see that this delta is going to come down between the electric bus and the, you know,
More
fossil
orders.
fuel bus, and they, you know, and more, and you know, the thing is that you know, if you're not talking hundreds of buses as an order, you're not getting you know, one-offs that we would be looking at. Even if we were to combine our buying power with the VTA, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority,
It's not
Second
enough.
Regional Transit
Not enough.
Authority, it's not enough.
No.
It's not enough to
You
lower the price, or it's not enough to be able to get it economically?
You wouldn't be able to lower the price.
But
Right.
savings
Right.
for maintenance, and don't underestimate the public goodwill that you will be generating. That has some.
That's worth money.
We did discuss that, we did bring that up in terms of the payback, as I think as part of a follow-up. The bus manufacturer that was there was tasked with coming back with what the payback would be. His off the top of his head thing was that it'd be about a 15-year payback based on 50,000 miles a year for a bus. Our buses, even a heavily used bus, only does about 30,000 miles, so.
Yours do 30?
We have a couple of them that end up doing 30,
Hmm.
and the other ones don't, because we're talking, it's a, you know, 4 or 5 mile run, it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
9-10 miles from here,
Yeah,
you know, type thing, and
yeah.
by the
Are your
time.
buses often not completely full?
Yes.
So with smaller electric buses,
The thing is that we have to have, there's,
you still need
Both
capacity is
seasons.
concerned one way or
Both
the other.
seasons.
It's much like our vessels where,
Yeah.
Have to
you
build for
know,
Labor Day
there's
weekend.
some, you know,
yeah,
open space in one direction as opposed to the other direction. We have,
right.
and in the summertime, we don't have enough buses, we don't have enough bus drivers to, when the island home comes in and the Nantucket comes in, you know, we have people that wait outside for over an hour for a bus, particularly on those weekends where we have to go out to Potomac.
Yeah.
So your current buses, are they liquid natural gas?
No.
We tried.
We do have CNG for Hyannis,
Oh,
but the only charging station for it is out on White's Path. And
oh,
so when
That's a pain.
we send it out there, we lose that bus
Right.
for about an
5
hour or
hours.
so out
Oh,
of
okay.
service. We've talked with, we mentioned it with Hui in the town, whether it'd be great if we could, you know,
Yeah.
collaboratively come up with a charging station here, so that way, you know, our vehicles, the oceanographics, the towns, whether they would convert to it, and there was no traction on that, so,
Bob, so are your buses now diesel?
yes.
They are. Just in your cost analysis, look at engine hours rather than miles, okay? Engine hours will tell you how long that vehicle is running, whereas an electric vehicle is gonna shut down when it's, instead of idling, you know?
or generating if you're braking.
The,
But, yeah, and
Regenerative
this
braking.
is a great time of year for us to be testing this one now, because, you know, Angie, they hadn't had them in the wintertime, so they didn't have any information in terms of the battery usage, so we might be able to get up to perhaps up to 300 miles in the summertime.
Yeah, because it's warmer.
We're looking at maybe 100 miles this time of year. I mean,
Yeah.
we took it down to Hyannis for that meeting
Yeah.
as a demonstration. And, you know, it used, you know, half the fuel.
Yeah.
Half the energy was used just back and forth to Hyannis, so.
So I'm just curious, for this particular kind, do they have, what do you call them, not rentals, but,
Lease.
thank you. Do they have leases?
I imagine they would.
The reason I'm saying this, because when I bought my car, I'm leasing it because I know in 3 years, the tech's gonna be so much better that it's, you know, comes, and so that's the way you have to be thinking when you're an early adopter, is that you need to think that this is a temporary thing. I mean, part of the 10-year thing, going back to our numbers, this is going to be a reality. I mean, it has to, because we got 12 years before we all jump off the edge of the earth.
And the battery life, you know, they're always improving that, so.
Yes.
You know, and the question becomes of whether the lithium inside, and.
And which culture do we kill to get the lithium?
So,
I know, it's a complicated thing, but you gotta start.
you know, but we even talked about that, you know, whether if we were to have those, that we could end up using those as a storage device in the off-season for.
Take out the mechanics?
So if anything that's being generated from a solar or things like that, that they could be then used as for demand usage.
Slow,
And that kind of-
very slow.
Well, that's great you're experimenting.
And a few
There's
years
lot of
ago,
thumbs up for that.
Mark Rosen
Is that on
worked a lot.
Huh?
Is that on film?
Everything's on film.
What a compliment.
But a few years ago, Mark Rosen tried to work with Olive Technologies about a different style of electric buses, where they would be over a charging station, and it would be coils underneath that would charge the buses.
No, it's
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
It wasn't even close.
It was inductive. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, inductive.
And big grant opportunities with the state of Massachusetts. And then there was a change of administrations that was under Deval Patrick, with them went to Baker, and all of that grant opportunity apparently went away.
Stopped.
So,
Well, I mean, I know, you know, if you listen to the trolley buses, those things are nasty diesel, low maintained. I don't know how many people go in them, but they make a lot more noise. They certainly make a lot more dirty soot compared to yours.
So we're even looking into a program where a little shuttle
Don't-
bus.
That was a compliment.
Hey,
Jay, just come on, you gotta give a little.
no, the trolley bus is no longer being run. I think that's off the line now.
It
It's
is?
the old dirty one, yeah.
No, but that's all seasonal.
that's easy.
Maybe. I
It's
read it was
seasonal.
gonna be coming off, but
You
But as
know,
part of the discussion we had the other day was that even our smaller shuttle bus, the one that we, for instance, use back and forth down in Woods Hole to bring people up from the back lot, we're going to be looking into a program where those can be converted to a electric.
there was some talk about the fact that Beth Colt went to a meeting and said that it was her understanding that the trolleys to Woods Hole are being eliminated in lieu of the sea line going down there.
well, they're thinking about rerouting the sea line a little bit.
Well, they are doing
Yeah.
that down Jones Road. She was very disappointed to hear that because she says a lot of people enjoy that open air atmosphere, not related to steamship.
Wait a minute.
Well, remember, Beth Colt is not the only voice in Woods Hole.
Correct.
I'm just saying.
But she does get the word out about that, that's right, yeah.
Right. We done with 7?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Moving it
Yeah,
along.
I think we're
the
getting
same
punchy
thing
here.
applies
Very
to
getting punchy.
boats, any new boats, mixed energy technology, those.
Right, I think it's fair to say we have not started the planning process for any new boats yet.
No, correct.
Thank
But
you.
we are,
Okay.
we would of course try to keep abreast of any.
Yeah,
Do you,
yeah.
do you publish how much your carbon footprint is? So that there's a point at which you can start to say, this is the growth area that we need to be able to focus on?
You
Some
can
of
find
the
out how much
issues with-
fuel they
Some of
use.
the issues with the vessels are the technology, what would be used, whether it's a hybrid, whether it's a electric, and then you have the.
No, I mean now.
Of what we're using now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, we know how much fuel we use for our vessels, and,
And where do they fill up? Do they fill up here or they fill up?
No,
Here.
Doug's.
No,
the docks.
No, not here. I mean, here Woods Hole versus
Woods Hole.
Packers,
Oh,
because he is a gas man.
No, on the mainland.
Yeah.
Sales and all
There you
the
go.
ferries.
At least
It's a
going out,
reach.
at least going outbound.
80% of the
Right,
time,
right.
it's a reach to the.
It is,
But-
directly.
and I don't know what happened to the fast ferry, but there's a lot, we often hear about, where's the fast ferry? If you're, if things are wide open about your next boat purchase, I mean, maybe you don't want a different type of boat, but people really got a nice taste of that.
Really?
Yeah, we like the fast food.
Why?
Saves time. It was fun.
Saves time. It was fun, but geez,
Yeah.
not if you're in a sailboat going,
I mean,
Why?
just think if you were to issue an RFP tomorrow, you would have that
It's,
slot filled.
it's been on the list, it's
Mhm.
something that we're, you know, but the issue is that we have no room at the end. In the summertime, we're running 5 vessels. We have 5 slips that we can berth a vessel. We need to be able to run the 5 vessels out of Vineyard Haven if Oak Post was to close, and that only has 2 slips.
but
So-
you'd get more trips because they're faster.
No, because of harbor congestion. So the time that we ran it, we were able to run it on the half hour and the hour because
Oh.
it was 149 passengers. It's the
Mhm.
time of year where we didn't have people with luggage, we didn't have people
Mhm.
with bags and bikes and everything else. So we were able to, there was no harbor congestion, there was no sailboats, there was no, you know, kayakers in the harbor, things like that. So we were able to run that schedule, and yes, everyone liked it because they got in there
Quicker.
15 minutes earlier than it would have been, and we were charging the same amount of money. Well,
Right,
those boats burn more fuel,
yeah.
and so it would be an additional cost, and this is all in the area, as Steve pointed out, is that we have the capacity for the passengers. It's, you know, so any passengers that we're able to get on our traditional ferries, that just offsets some of the other costs. But to run a high speed, you know, besides the logistics of it, is that, you know, it would cost more, so therefore would people be, you know, and then the question becomes is, you can't have, for instance, the INO wouldn't have worked down here because of the capacity. We wouldn't have been able to turn around that many people in that amount of time. We know that from experience down in Hyannis that.
How many did you hold?
393.
Well, there seemed to me so many arguments for it. The loading was seamless, even with a lot of stuff.
We
People come right
understand
up,
that-
you
we
know, hanging
understand-
out in the upper second floors.
Yeah, we understand that there was a desire for people.
Well, don't miss the bus.
And so, as I said, we've kept it on the radar, it's just a matter that it hasn't been a priority to look into, you know, partly because of all the, you know, all the other activities that are going on.
Okay, I think we've addressed number 9 already, long-term planning by the steamship
Yep.
authority to reduce the number of trucks and cars.
Laurie, there is one in 8 that Ms. Tierney mentioned plans for a new boat.
Right,
Are there any plans for a new boat?
I think what she was
It was
referring,
hypothetical,
yeah,
yeah.
I think what she's just referring to is that our boats are getting older, and at some point, we're gonna need to be looking at.
So there's no specific
There's
plan?
no specific, I think the capital plan that we had has us looking at, you know, a design of, you know, what our needs would be in another year or two. And then it'd be another 18 months for construction. You know, well, we'd have to, depending upon what it is, the engineering for that, and then construction, so.
I mean, another way to look at it is that if we have 10 boats, 10 passenger vehicle boats,
Mhm.
do we have 9 or 10?
We had 9 passenger vehicles, 1
Nine.
high speed.
Okay, but 10 boats, if they have a life of 50 years,
Yep.
that means you
Yeah.
should be
Every
replacing them
5
every
years,
5 years.
one's got to turn, yeah.
And so,
But-
you know, we just can't sit there and ignore the fact that
Do you have to get a bond or something?
we have a bonding limit, so we issue bonds for them, and that's what we did. The last boat cost, the Woods Hole cost less than $40 million, but around $40 million when you include everything else. They keep on going up. The Island Home cost 33, 35.
33 for the home.
and that was 2000, that was awarded in 2004,
This one.
so.